Back at it again, and continuing on with the left's narrative is breaking. We have to talk about Harvard professor Roland Fryer, who recently went to the University of Austin, Texas, University of Austin, excuse me, and spoke about something that's very, very interesting. And the left didn't like it very much. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. By the way, this clip is a little longer. Okay, just a fair warning. All right, we gonna sit here for a little while checking out this clip because I wanted you guys to see the entire thing. Well, not the entire thing because the entire discussion is over an hour long, but we're gonna watch a decent chunk of it. Okay, because I think it's important to see this. Now, I don't want to say too much, but before we get into it, I want to say thank you to every single last one of you guys that shows so much love and support, everyone that leaves a comment, all right? That helps out tremendously with the algorithm, even though it's literally just comment algorithm, all right? I greatly appreciate every single last one of you guys, everyone that leaves a like on the videos. That helps out with the algorithm as well, getting these videos out to more and more folks, okay? Thank you guys so much. Everyone that shares these videos, greatly appreciate every single last one of you guys as well. And everyone that sends a super thanks, man. Shout out to y'all too, man. Greatly appreciate. I mean, you guys show so much love and support, man. It's incredible. So I just wanted to take the time to say thank you. Sincerely, thank you. And with that being said, let's dive in.
Social penalty.
Social penalty.
Okay. When you came on my radar, it was for a paper that you wrote in 2016. Here was the title of it: An Empirical Analysis of Racial Differences in Police Use of Force. Maybe there's been a more controversial paper since then. I would argue it's probably the most controversial of your career so far. Tell us about that study, and you've called the results the most surprising of your career. Why is that?
Could we change the language of controversy? I mean, do you mean interesting? People are always like, you're so controversial. I don't want to be, right? Like, I'm just showing you the data. The data are telling you a weird story. That's not my fault. I'd like some nice popular data. It just didn't work out that way. Look, I saw what was going on with Michael Brown and some of the early viral videos of police violence. I wanted to do something, but protesting is just not my jam. I'm not saying that people shouldn't protest, go for it, but it seemed hot outside. I just didn't want to do it. And so I thought, I want to do something. And the only thing I know how to do is I'm one of the world's biggest data nerds. So I said, this is going to be the easiest paper I ever write. I'm going to go get some data. I'm going to go show that the police are biased. Finally, people are going to like me. And my grandmother's going to go, you showed that the police don't like black people. Really? What are you doing up there? Right? Like, this was, I had it all laid out. And then I had dinner with a colleague of mine, and I was telling him about my plan. And he says, you know, Roland, when you work on schools and other stuff like that, you really just are in the schools. And so it's weird for me, strange that you would just download police data and not understand more about the police. He says, I wonder what the police are maximizing. A very econ kind of thing to ask.
And you know, just to interject a little bit here, I find this really interesting because I was in a similar kind of situation. You know, I was like, all right, you know what? I can't tell you exactly why I hate Trump, but I'm sure there's a good reason, right? And I embarked on this journey of discovering the truth, which is where we are now. You can go back through the entire journey. It's all been documented, right? And if you watch some of my earlier videos, I think you can kind of tell I was still a little biased towards Democrats. Like, I wanted Democrats to come out on top. Just honest, right? The videos are still there, okay? As much as I was trying to be unbiased, I still was a little biased, right? And I was like, man, yeah, the Democrats are going to come out on top. You know, I'm going to go through this journey. I'm going to, you know, figure out, hey, I was right this whole time, you know? It is what it is. I found out something different. And he did too. Keep watching.
I wonder what the police are maximizing. And it dawned on me in that moment, I didn't know, nor did I think I cared. So I said, okay, fine. I didn't give him credit in the moment, but I left and said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go figure out what police maximize. So I set up ride-alongs in Camden, Philadelphia, Houston, some places in Massachusetts to ride along with the police. Now, back to 1991, I don't like the police very much. I don't.
What had been your experience with the police?
I had been roughed up by the police. I've had guns pulled on me. Mind you, they pulled me over and I decided it would be a good idea to get out of the car and walk away. The details are important, probably. But in any event, I didn't like their customer service. And so I just didn't like police. They came, they took half my family away. Granted, they were selling a lot of drugs, but again, not the greatest customer service. So I was biased against the police. I'm not, that's obvious. I went and...
Same. I can admit that. It is what it is, right? I can admit the same thing. I was biased against the police. I was. Hated them. Despised them. And I had no good reason as to why. None. Because when you follow the advice of someone like a Larry Elder, right? Roll down all your windows. Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Right? You're respectful. You're courteous. You do what they ask you to do. Even if you feel that it's wrong. You do what they ask you to do. And if you feel it's wrong, you handle it later. Like, why is that controversial? Like, and I get called, all types of names for agreeing with stuff like that, right? Oh, he's a Uncle T, or he's a, I don't know if YouTube would penalize me for saying that. He's that animal that starts with an R. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But it's the truth. The objective should be to walk back through your front door the same way you walked out. And if you've watched the movies where time and time again, people fight with cops and they don't walk back through their front door, why would you want to repeat that? You've watched it time and time again. Common sense should kick in and say, okay, well, I'm not going to go that route. I'm not going to fight with this guy today. He has a weapon on him and can use it and will use it. I've watched people with his same uniform use it on other folks that have done exactly what I'm thinking about doing. At a certain point, it's common sense, but you don't have that from these so-called black leaders saying stuff like that. Okay, these so-called black leaders only want to show up when people are outraged, when people are angry. They don't show up when the truth needs to be said, and they definitely don't say it, right? They only show up when there's a check involved. When a little money can be made, that's when you see their faces. Where they at in Chicago? Once again, and I'll keep asking that question. Where are they at in Chicago? I'll leave it at that. Continue on.
And I don't think I've received a better education since my grandmother taught me to read. It's a hard job. And I know that sounds obvious sitting on a stage. It's a really hard job. I am a terrible police officer. After 4 hours, everyone looked like a criminal to me. I don't know if I was hangry. I don't know what it was, but I'm telling you, I'm serious. They were like, you could never be a cop. Because I was like, hey, let's pull over. That kid's got a basketball. I don't like it. I participated in these weapons training thing, not real weapons, relax, but like these weapons trainings where there's simulations, and some guy, like I'm in the building, the guy walks out, he's got a baby, I shoot the guy right in the head, and they're like, what was about the baby? I said, sorry, I didn't see the baby. I was a bad police officer. But what I really did, I'm serious, I realized the job is really hard. It was the end of a 12-hour shift in Camden. And we get a call for a potential overdose in a row house. It's an abandoned building. We bust in. person dies within 6 feet of me. And it shook me up a little bit. And so I looked at the guys I was with and I said, yo, how about beers on me? And they said, what do you mean beers are on you? I said, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Do you want me to speak in Greek? I mean, I don't know. It's beers are on me. We should leave here. Let the paramedics take over. We should go. And they said, we got to go back to work. Mm. And I said, but we just saw somebody die. And the police chief overheard me, and he was incredulous. He says, Roland, if I gave everybody a break every time someone died, no one would cover the shifts. And I was like, wow. It is a hard job. And so through these experiences, long story short, I collected a lot of data. And those experiences helped me understand what types of data to collect. We collected millions of observations on everyday use of force that wasn't lethal. We collected thousands of observations on lethal force. And the key question, I alluded to it earlier in a bit of a joke, but the key question is not just this arbitrary, silly snapshots that some journalists, not named Barry, do a lot, which is black people are 13% of the population and they are 50% of the police shootings. I'm sorry about that, but I don't know what that has to do with the question. Right? And it was in this moment in 2016 that I realized people lose their minds when they don't like the result. Right? And so what my paper showed, you'll see tomorrow, like some of you, was that, yes, we saw some bias in the low-level uses of force, every day pushing up against cars and things like that. People seem to like that result. But we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings. Now, that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. The little-known fact is I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year. When I found this surprising result, I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. They came up with the same exact answer, and I thought it was robust. And I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose.
Tell us about that. What was the reaction?
I mean, well,
I wonder why all hell broke loose. We all know why. But I'll give most of those comments at the end.
Your former paper published published a report about it, and it was a 104-page dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix, okay? It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is full of shit. Doesn't make any sense. And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. People lost their minds. I mean, it was like colleagues of mine were going, well, I don't believe these results. He's using regressions. I'm like, well, what the hell else we been using? I mean, we've been using them for ever. That's what you use. And I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes. Do you believe the second part? Well, the issue is they just don't fit together. We like the first one, but you should publish the second one another time. I said, let me ask this. If the second part about the police shootings, this is a literal conversation. I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they say, yeah, then it would make sense. And I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens. So it was, you know, I lived under police protection for about 30 or 40 days. I had a 7-day-old daughter at the time. I remember going and shopping.
Now, listen to what he just said. Under police protection because of a paper.
police protection for about 30 or 40 days. I had a 7-day-old daughter at the time. I remember going and shopping for it because, when you have a newborn, you think you have enough diapers. You don't. So I was going to the grocery store to get diapers with an armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly crazy. It was a really phenomenal experience.
There are a lot of people, many people, and this has been a realization for me over the past few years of my own life, who faced with that exact decision point would make the opposite choice. I think the majority of people actually would make the opposite choice. They would think, I'm going to preserve my career, my professional status, my prestige. You were a golden boy at that point. I'm going to preserve my popularity, my ability to get along with my colleagues, someone nice to sit next to me in the cafeteria. Like, every incentive, to use an economics term, would be pushing you to make that choice. What is it inside of you? What can everyone here learn about what allowed you to make the opposite choice? To make the choice that would force you to suffer all of the consequences you would come to suffer, some a direct result and some adjacent to it.
I don't covet what they covet. And I tell my undergraduates every year in the final lecture of my undergraduate classes, each one of them, the key to Harvard is get a great education without letting this place change you. It's really important. It can be corrupting. So not every incentive was pushing in that direction, because every day I have to look myself in the mirror and say, what are you here for? What did you leave behind? I did not grow up wanting to go to Harvard.
We can end that one there. You got to look yourself in the mirror after making some of those decisions. You got to be honest with yourself. Can't lie to you, right? You know what you did. Other people may not know, but you know, right? God knows. Those two people you can't lie to. Right? And so, it's crazy how some of these folks can look themselves in the face knowing that it is a total that is total BS. You went after this man because he did honest research. And you didn't like the outcomes because of the narrative that you have been pushing upon the American people. What a shame. What a shame. It's stuff like that the American people all need to see. It's stuff like this. This man did an honest research paper, put it together, and redid it right after he admittedly was like, hold on, these are the results. No. I got to hire another group of folks to redo this one. Let's do it again. Same results. Oh, okay. Well, here we go. He got penalized for that. Penalized for it. By folks who agreed with the first part, right? Low level. Okay, maybe there is a little bias here at the low level stuff. But anything beyond that, no. It's just not there. Oh, well, no. We can't publish that. Why not? Because it exposes who you actually are? Exposes you for the liar you have been? And your political side of the aisle has been? Is that why he shouldn't have published it? Man. It's stuff like this that really disgusts me, man. It truly does. Because there are individuals who have lost their lives because of the narrative that the left is pushing. Right? And it's unfortunate. Folks who are extremely fearful of police, hate police, and have never been told how to react when encountering police. All they know is hate, anger. cop bad, cop bad, cop bad. Well, when all of that is running through your mind in a situation where you're encountering a police officer who doesn't know you from a can of beans, right? He doesn't know who you are, or she doesn't know who you are. They know you're a human, of course. They know you're a person, yes. But they don't know if you just body bagged like a whole house full of people, or you the pastor at the local church. They don't know. But all of these thoughts are rolling through your mind, and now you sweating, you getting a little fidgety, and oh no, you reach it, done, gone, over with, finito. When all they had to do was tell people, cops are humans just like us. Okay? They want to make it back home just as bad as the rest of us. Okay? And if they're in a situation where you reaching, you fidgeting, you sweating, you doing all this type of stuff, you not following commands, you put their life in danger, we all know how that ends. That's common sense. But the left wants to continue to push this narrative, which is why this is why I say the left, I mean, it's there's so many examples, and here's just another one. The left doesn't like black people. They don't. Black people are pawns to the left. Pawns. Look at some of these cities that have been run by Democrats. Look at some of these cities. I mean, we can go down the list. We can start with Chirac. How about that? We'll start there. Let's start there. Run by Democrats. How well is that going? Exactly. And even beyond that, when's the last time you saw one of these Democrats that say they care about black people? When's the last time you saw them in Chicago? When's the last time you saw them in Chicago trying to stop the black-on black violence? When's the last time? I'll wait. I'll rest my case. I don't need to go on. We've been here long enough, man. But if y'all want me to continue, I can make a whole nother video on this. Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Oh, man. Shout out to Roland Fryer, man. Standing on business. I don't care what y'all say, what y'all think. This is the research, and I'm going to publish it, whether you like it or not. My career can go down the drain, but I'm going to publish this research because this is the truth. What I'm supposed to publish, something fake? That's not what I do. You got to love somebody that stand on business. Got to love it. Peace and love. I'm out.